Greeks or joins. Okay, so this is about the volcano that just erupted. I forget what day it was, a couple of days ago, or yesterday, or whatever day it was. Tonga volcano, yeah, kind of. I guess it's sunk now or something like that, but or some part of it has. I don't feel like that tour. I mean, it might. It feels like it's not going to do explode again, but it hit California pretty good. Yeah, just give us a couple more of those with a huge, bigger impact. We'll have a different world. We'll send us back to the time of the dinosaurs. I don't think it's going to do that. It's just clearing out old energies. That's all. So I don't think that's going to be out of the world. So this is ancient engineering of Jurassic Park, or the ancient. Yeah, if you look at the dinosaurs and you think of like re-engineering of the dinosaurs. Like, it looks like somebody went and did genetic tests. Just made their own dinosaur basically. When you think about it, so which that's the vibe that puts it out there. So what's happening? Those energies, yeah, they're talking about Jurassic Park in our time frame, but what about the ancient times? Where it's much easier. So, and there are dinosaur dimensions here somewhere. Yeah, and Africa has a strong energy. Every once in a while, a pterodactyl, somebody might see one. And there's probably other energies. It's like a shift in the matrix. It's pretty fascinating. And other versions of Earth. And I'll go into that. There's there's a movie called for one example, The One, where Jet Li is the bad guy, goes to the other versions of Earth and kills other versions of himself so he gets stronger. And it has humorous sides to it, but he says other universes, and technically it is other universes because it's other versions of Earth. So anyway, we're going to maybe not that exactly, but in that world it has technology where you can actually see other versions of Earth. You can actually, like wormhole yourself to another version of Earth. So it might seem comical on our side, but there are places where you have time travelers, but they also have those that can go from one version to Earth to another. That's time traveling to a certain degree. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Whatever. So we're going to dive into some interesting some of the channel of the volcano energies of what's going on with that. Let's see what we can get. I'm not expecting a whole lot from it, but you never know. As I'm told, we have private sessions at the scheduler, shop here. I'm on the first, I think, still. Same situation here. Webinar, social network, and behind the scenes. And speaking of other versions of Earth, this is a good example of it. A kind of a dinosaur. This is Dinotopia. We're basically a dino. No, obviously this is a little bit off from where I was going, but this is another idea of other versions of Earth for sure. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, talking about a really neat place. I believe there's. They have connections to Pleiadians also. Pleiadian worlds are similar to this. That's cool. So they have the Tonga. I'm assuming that's where the volcano was. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, let's see here. Volcano. Oh. So that's it. In theory. So yeah, if you're swimming out there, let us know how it is over there. I don't know. I didn't look up Australia, but I guess it all went towards California. I imagine it went towards New Zealand, but I didn't hear anything about them. And this is The One. where he's battling himself. Yeah, he's out killing other versions of himself so he can get more powerful. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool, the multiverse. Multiverse. Sure, Phil. Put that there. Come on. Yeah, it's him in another version of Earth. Has some weird looking wigs there. Let's see here. Yeah. Anyway, it's not that important. Anyway, it's an action move so he can fight himself basically, but it's still pretty cool overall. So something different. There's Priscilla back there. Fritzy's doing Fritzy things. So all right, Tonga volcano. Before I go into that, yeah, Tonga volcano. I don't see that's going to do anything. I mean, I think recently it's kind of fired up a little bit, but not for. That's about it. Nothing too exciting there. Yeah, it's gonna be talking for a while. But the Jurassic Park, it feels like that's there's been a lot of remote viewing there. I'm not sure what they're doing remote viewing the dinosaurs. They have their reasons, of course. I'm not sure if they're going to try to. I mean, I imagine there's some kind of Jurassic Park thing going on here somewhere. I mean, they're trying everything. Might as well. Obviously, the movie, it feels like it was partway them trying to manifest that into our reality. Not that it would have happened, but it shows that something's going on there. Yeah, I always feel like underground Africa, they're doing something with dinosaur tech, or whatever dinosaur DNA they have at this time, whatever they got. Either way. Okay. All right, going to the Tonga volcano frequency and move on from there. So, possibly Saturn energy might come in too. Make that just in case. I connected to them yesterday, but they didn't have any energy, just like today. So, okay, all right, blessings. Here we go. Before I start, as I connect to the volcano, I do feel time traveling energy is going on there. I wasn't expecting that. Like some other forces are there to keep it from getting worse. Of course, the alien energies, but it feels time traveling frequencies there, which I was not looking for. Yeah, it feels like it's unusual for being in a place like that. Well, not really, but yeah. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not surprised. Just I'm surprised, but not surprised. I wasn't really looking, but so. Okay, all right, we're trying again. All right, blessings. Greetings. The Tonga frequencies, your Mother Earth energy field. There's been a lot of souls sacrificing themselves here on Earth. Those that, yes, many that have incarnations that they don't really want. And you say the volcano eruptions have a lot to do with that. Just releasing a lot of inner pain. Those that are giving their energy to humanity to assist it in a lot of the frequencies of just release is going on. It also shows, yes, there is also a timeline shift coming. Nothing too major, but of course there's other been volcanic frequencies going on. But happening in the ocean does show, because the oceans are part of the human consciousness. Of course, everything is, but the human consciousness, it does bring back memories. especially those that have been on islands where the island is no longer in existence. When you are shifting energies with water, can be quite intense. Of course, with any volcano, disruption can be intense, but the oceans can mean one thing or many things, but one of them is where continents are become lost and others are resurrected. So anything is possible there. Time traveling frequencies, of course, there's alien frequencies. Spirit beings are here to assist for this volcano energy, not to be too much for the human race, not yet. But it does. Mother Earth has to make herself known. She has to, you know, put on her party dress and put on a show for society. It might be disruptive, but everyone can tap into their frequencies and get a different type of reading. There's all different types of perspectives that she's more than happy to release, for you to connect with. With the volcano frequencies, basically, it's showing of what's to come. Of course, once again, it's very rare for an ocean volcano to erupt. So it is. So those timelines can truly be shifted. And some of you have felt these type of eruptions in an astral volcano, where reality is completely shifted. There are realities many of you are building at this time, and it can be easily disrupted. Similar to like here where people's plans get disrupted easily. So there's a lot of soul healing the earth is going through at this time. Of course, always. This is the school of the universe. This is one of the main schools, not the school. Of course, it's not such a thing as the school, but it's one of the main schools for soul growth, especially for beings that have tested other universes and they all find themselves here in this universe. You feel like you get trapped in a world and you can't leave, but what about if you get trapped into a universe and you can't leave? Which is happening now to this universe. Of course, you're not really tapping into all the planets of this universe. This universe energy has a way of absorbing other universes too. But for overall, this is the only one that can be seen for now. Other universes, yes, or other dimensions. So yes, you can go from one universe to another, but usually has to go to another dimension. There are other universes that are connected to each other, just like an ocean is connected to each other. And universes do have borders, technically. Maybe not your verb, but there is the edge of the universe that does exist. And many of you do come from those places. A lot of your Archon beings come from the edge of the universe. Archon beings also come from the center of the universe, but a lot of them come from the edge of the universe. That's where the wild areas are. Just like your borders of your countries. Everything goes there. The rules are not that strong on the edge of the universe. In this world, a lot of what's happening here is from the edge of the universe. Not all of it. Some of your rock bands are from the edge of the universe. We're not sure if that's helpful for you in your growth, but edge of the universe can be, yes, some of the most positive worlds in the universe and also some of the most negative, and so on. So, what's this? Greetings. We are Pleiadians from your Jurassic period. Yes, there's many perspectives. One is think of the reptilian races that are experimenting on themselves, on each other, creating beings that are beyond your imagination. The dinosaurs also give you an idea of the giants. So there are reptilian worlds, there are all kinds of different worlds that have giants, but the reptilian worlds are showing the reptiles from their giant worlds. So you can say for some, dinosaurs are their pets in other realities. They don't call them pets, but I think you have an idea. But yes, genetic engineering on all forms. Brought to your world for various different reasons. There are many beings that saw the future. Yes, it is connected to your oil. It's connected to other things too. It's basically a disclosure. There are other beings like dragons that have been removed from your planet as skeletal structures. The skeleton structures have been removed. That's a little bit too much disclosure. There are around, but they're not going to show themselves at this time. Of course, there's a lot of alien beings keeping your world hidden from itself. Um, you can say through your human consciousness, but there's just many places that they're to not be discovered yet. Various, just doesn't mean so places around the world that you feel that there's an ancient city, such as the Eye of Africa, for example, or ancient cities in your oceans. It's time to just allow those frequencies through yourself to come through. Do you have memories there? It's just allowing the world to start talking to you. Now, obviously, making it known, your version of reality is going to take some use to. First, society has to be open to all these different timelines. It's open to a certain extent, but still closed down. Well, because the main timeline has certain lessons connected to it. Lessons that many of you doesn't mean you don't need, but you're just on a different life path. But your main timeline is basically your main schooling for most of your people, not everyone. Yes, the relationships, the schools, the curriculum, jobs. It's all part of a main flow. It's like an ocean itself. And many of you are on the outside skirts of it. In astral, you might even see, possibly, this is stretching it, the dimensions that you come from, where you see a different version of Earth than what you're being taught by the main time. The main timelines is have the version of Earth through the main timeline, you can say, is necessary for the growth of the people. For now, you might find it all false. You might not find the whole thing as a lie. That's fine. But it is sticking to the narrative currently, for now. Just for now, because the people aren't. I mean, imagine if you start going to this. Humans during the time of the dinosaurs, not just cave people, alien beings. Obviously, they don't have a university textbook about that just yet. But that's why you're here. To bring out your mythology, what you're tapping into. Because this world isn't going anywhere, but I'd be more than happy to learn from you what you'd like to leave here before you leave, whatever it might be. It can be just conversation. Of course, you can't read conversations in the future. But many of you are just, you already see mythology done through fiction. And many of you are going to bring spiritual mythology through yourself. Not necessarily for entertainment purposes, for educational purposes, remembering the past. Because many feel like this is the end of the timeline, everything's going to get positive. And maybe for you, yes, for your dimension, reality you're going to, yes, you're connected to a version of Earth where it is a paradise place. But this world is still on its timeline, as you can see. It has not changed. It's changing, but it has not changed that much as some of you think it has. Crime still exists, all as you know. The world is evolving, but not in the way you think it is. But you are tapping into the realms that you are coming from, going to, wherever it might be. So it's good to keep an open mind on different levels. But the Jurassic, the dinosaur frequencies, yes, it's difficult because you're not used to thinking that way. Or if you are, feel like no one's going to trust you or believe you. But clearing out all your biases and what do you feel from the past, your version of it. as wild as it needs to be. Usually, the more wild, the more accurate it is. Doesn't mean it's not accurate. It's just some of you kind of dilute your connections because you know how the Earth human consciousness is. It's like people aren't going to believe that, so I just downgrade what I see, and that's very normal. Well, you see the world you're in. So many of you on a spiritual path might not feel this way, but you're actually here for a short time, and the rest of the society, because reason being, because the rest of society, the main timeline society, obviously that's kind of like the majority, and the majority rules technically. So what you're bringing in is here, yes, but it is good to say what's on your mind, of course. Greetings. With the Arcturians, there are many alien races that have developed, yes, multi-dimensional travel. I think, yes, many of you have tapped into them. But there are worlds where there are third-dimensional worlds that have figured this out themselves. Maybe not the best technology, it's similar to like your Star Trek, where they get on a ship and fly around or travel around, but they're more third-dimensional beings. Uh, those are rough timelines. Usually in the fourth, higher fifth, it's a little bit easier to travel through space. Also, multi-dimensional travel, of course, is the same situation. More of a dangerous technology. That doesn't mean that you're out to invent this in your backyard anytime soon. Governments are doing it all the time, though. They can't quite figure out everything. Of course, they're not going to make everything completely public at this time. A lot of your spy agencies that come from your government come from other versions of Earth. I mean, they walk down that planet. They brought them over here to walk down this planet. So some of this will become more clear to some of you, like your version of Greece and Rome and whatever past you are connecting to. Obviously it's been designed in a way where the energies are not always going to make it, like Greece, ancient Greece. It's in a way, the ruins and everything is in a way, so it's difficult to tap into. It's not impossible, but to see the full scope of basically you can channel all of those time periods again from different perspectives, but even go deeper what's been hidden. There are ancient technologies connected to ancient Greece and Rome that obviously mainstream thinking will not allow that to come into your reality. Of course, you see the cathedrals and how they're built, showing that somebody knows something they're not telling you. And some of the Sartarian frequencies, but there are other beings. But the Sartarians are the ones that left their energy field. There's much more to it than that. So, as for multidimensional visitations, some of you possibly remember those timelines. Not easy ones either. And some of them are connected to the government, to some kind of future government. If you wanted to travel from one world, obviously there are alien frequencies that are much easier to travel to different realms. But it's seeing a lot of alien groups do look at, like, if this version of Earth, what they went through, if they went through something similar to you. Some alien beings have that capability, not many. Because if you look at another version of Earth, they can get lost. Meaning they can connect to that other version of Earth and say, is this the Earth that we're looking at before? No, it's not, but they forget. It's whatever comes with that other version of Earth. There's a lot of amnesia comes with that version of Earth, so you can actually get caught there. Not that any of you have anything to worry from that. The Mandela effects and all this does show that someone's been tampering your reality, though. Doesn't happen often, at least publicly, but it does happen all the time. Various different. Well, beings are curious, so they shift your realities and not even realize. Of course, it is put back to a certain degree. Of course, you'll never notice that. But yes, extra confusion to you at this time. There's another entity here, so blessings. Greetings. And the Saturn frequency, our consciousness. So the worlds that you are tapping into, reality, alien realities, angelic realities, spirit realities, all of this will be gathered into your Earth's consciousness, meaning that the Earth's consciousness will take it more seriously. Right now, it's still new, so it has not been fully, made popular. Of course, there's many who also have difficulty accepting this type of thinking, but many of you, as you're tapping into all this, you are making it more popular, just for humanity to be taken more seriously by society. Even if humanity does not understand it, and many won't. But the idea is for those that need this type of information can find a way to receive it and heal themselves. Yes, heal themselves from the loop of incarnating, because many of them are connected. If it's not this version of Earth, they're incarnating in other versions of Earth. Most likely, obviously, we can't go through all details. And that's what you're here to decipher. Where you come from, at least a version of it that'll help you in this incarnation. There's many other origins that you can go on and on that, but they're not going to help you here. So the origin that you're tapping into here is what matters. That's all that matters. The rest is all. Yes, you can go on forever with that. Many of you come from cataclysm worlds. Doesn't mean it's Earth, but other versions of other planets that have been through a great deal. And you come here to calm the waters of this planet. Because this world can get so stressed out, it can send waves of frequency throughout the universe and cause difficulties. And there's other planets that cause difficulties too. But those beings are here incarnated. It's funny that sometimes the short people, the small people, this short, even almost midget people, some of them are, they bring, I wouldn't say all of the stress, but quite a bit of it. At least in the higher dimensions, it all depends. Well, because they can get away with it, because some of them have enough power they can appear, disappear, vanish. Nobody can detect them. There are realms where they do exist, like the leprechaun, for example. And even some of your gnomes are known to be quite powerful. Your trolls, just to give you an example, of course, there are larger trolls, but some of the smaller beings, even a pixie being or a fairy being, because they're small and nobody caught them, they go on and on forever. First off, no one would think, and if they can keep their frequency hidden, like cloaked, it makes it even more difficult. So you can, usually when it's like a 6-foot being or taller, you can figure, pick up on their frequency. But when they're small, it's harder. Such a pixie. Pixies aren't talked about much here. Well, because they're so small. But some of them can be very diabolical. And usually when they incarnate, they usually are kind of a shorter person. Doesn't mean they're trying to take over the world. But some of them are, at least in their mind, they are. It depends. Yes, you are what you are from other realities. Meaning that if you're really short and small, you're most likely to be short here, but without going into too many details on that. It goes on and on with that. Your dragon beings are usually larger people, depending, because they're so used to that massive frequency. It's not something you just let go right away. You're used to being big, so being a big person makes sense. It's just what you're used to. I mean, you can be a little skinny person, but it's hard to do that when you're so used to being a giant dragon being. It takes a while to bring down that excess energy. And some of your trolls that are very overweight, like really menacing people, some of them are dark, evil dragon beings. And they're warning here how to calm all that down. It's not easy though. Without going into too much detail on that, some are diabolical beings. So it's just more of your positive dragon beings are usually of a normal weight span for themselves, but the ones that are caused just all kinds of difficulty for others, it's harder for them to lose the weight when they incarnate as human. They just gain a bunch of it just comes out of nowhere, and then throughout their incarnation, they can slowly clear it out. That's one example of how that works. It's one example. Your politicians, because it causes a lot of back. A lot of them are time travelers from other realities. Of course, they don't remember that. A lot of them are being used. There are worlds where they're being programmed from other realities. Obviously, that's a little heavy for others to accept. But when you can't understand why is this person being so manipulative on society, because probably they aren't who they are. They might say they are who they are, but there's other energies connected to them. Obviously, society is not ready to accept all of this, but eventually you'll be able to tap into what worlds these beings came from. That takes time. For a world like this, it's still trying to figure out how it even got into this situation to begin with, or just how to manage it, for example. As a Saturn frequency, part of our reason is to just keep your world going. It chose all of this. Not all of you, but some have. And we keep you here, keep the world going. Because the universe needs your planet. Yes, many of you have tried to remove it, get rid of it. It needs it desperate. It needs it right where it's at. Because this is where all the problems start. Where the world is at right now, obviously somebody might feel it's moved around and all that. That's fine. But we'll just say in this current location, however you want to see that. It's like where it started its problems, it kind of just sustained itself there. It's like when you cause a crime, you go back to the crime scene to clear it. So it's kind of like what's happening here. It's like if the world was moving around a lot and there's too much action going on in the world, and the world was extremely, everyone, I mean, people are busy as it is, but if it was even more adventurous, some of you, the reason why the world is so slow is so you can figure things out. Not just for yourself, but for reality itself. Yes, for you to nitpick reality, the different dimensions. It's like you're solving a case. For some of you, at least. Even if you're not even paying attention to it, physically, you don't have to. But if you find it intriguing of how reality works, that means you are working on it in some form. So, those things.